Hey guys, welcome to Approach the Nerd for this very impromptu, but I feel very necessary live stream. Kenny Low TV is going to pop in here. He's having camera trouble. He has the tech issues today, so I'm knock on wood, I don't, but you never know. And I am once again coming to you live from my sound booth, which is why it's not the higher quality audio. I'm working off of my MacBook Air. It's an M1, so if you don't know what that is, it means it doesn't have a fan. It has a really crazy super powered chip in it, but its camera sucks. So, or it sucks in a sound booth with very limited lighting, let's put it that way. But yeah, we're gonna talk about some stuff. Because we can. But before I do that, I see Kenny just popped in, so let me pop his little crazy butt in here. Hey, Kenny. Um,
My whole computer just froze on me and it reset itself. So
because obviously it hates you. I mean, I don't know what to
I'm
tell you.
quite sure it does. It ain't my look. It's just that because look, you and Maria don't get along no more. She don't like you. I don't like you either. So I guess everybody just don't like me. So I don't know what it is. Hi everybody.
Ugh. The cray array just popped into the building. But anyway, all right, we're gonna talk about some stuff so I can let you guys know what's going on. Even Kenny doesn't know some of my updates, so this is gonna be the
No, I
first time that
don't.
Kenny hears
No, I
some things
don't.
that are happening. So I'm gonna be very real with you. I'm not gonna drop any names. I'm not gonna because I don't want a defamation suit, but I am gonna be
Okay.
very, very transparent on what has been happening for the past year now, almost. Actually, it'll be a year. Um, the end of May, I guess, would be a year technically, but almost a year in May. But before that, some little housekeeping. Yes, I do know that I am behind on so many reviews, guys. Superman and
Me
Lois,
too.
I have been keeping up with Superman and Lois. I actually love this season. I got some stuff to say because Angry Grandma is going to have her
Uh
say.
oh.
And
Uh
there is a
oh.
character in Superman and Lois that just needs to go. And if you know me and you've watched my season one Superman and Lois review, then you will know exactly who I'm talking about. But I digress. We will talk about that. I'm going to be setting that stream up for Saturday because I actually have a Saturday off, which is very fucking rare. I'm sorry. And yes, I'm dropping F bombs. This is not going to be monetized.
No, it's not the F bombs. You got an off day. I'm shocked at that.
Oh yeah, that's true. Okay, so let me just start from the beginning. So those of you who have been on this channel who have still subscribed to me, even though I have not posted stuff for a very long time, I mean very sporadically, know that my dad died last June, so June 10th of 2022. Now, if you look at the timeline, that's when all the videos started slowing down. Now, I did kind of give you guys kind of like an update on what kind of was going on. But I'm going to go ahead and recap some stuff and then I'm going to tell you the new stuff. Because I would like to say that I am done, but I am not. So let me just I'm gonna be extremely real. And normally I'm a very private person, even though I talk about my spouse. I don't unless it's my friends. I don't really tell, and even some of my friends I don't tell stuff to. I don't tell people these things, but I feel like maybe I should just say stuff because about this specific situation, because maybe it will help somebody if they go through this in the future. So let me start from the beginning. So um, I'm breaking this into three parts. There's Maria emotionally, Maria health wise, and then the BS going on in Maria's life.
Oh gosh.
So full transparency. Everybody knows I've always been very vocal about me being mixed race, me loving being mixed race, me loving everything about all of my ethnicities, not comparing one, not weighing one above the other. It's just who I am. I have to disclaimer this because there's going to be some nitwit out there. There's going to when
Oh,
I
you
say what I
know,
say, is going to say, "Oh my God, it's because you brainwashed by the man." I don't want to hear all that shit. I'm sorry, I don't.
you already
um,
know that's coming. You
I already know.
already know.
I already know. But basically, I say all that to say that my father, who is the POC parent, and I have had a very strained relationship, and that is because my father, and I don't like to speak ill of the dead, was a dick. I mean, it's just what he was.
Well,
My,
you say told me that when he was living.
I
So
mean, he's a dick. He was a dick. My father treated me like shit most of my life, and it wasn't a situation where my dad left my mother. It wasn't a situation where I had no contact with my dad. No, I lived with my dad most of my life. My parents were married for 31 years until my mother passed away in 2008. So it was never about that. But to add context, and this is the stuff I don't share, my father, the day my mother died, well, let me back up. My mother was hospitalized for leukemia. She had AML. So basically, it is the most advanced stage of leukemia you can have. She was diagnosed December 17th and she passed on March 18th of 2008. Um, Her family had a history of leukemia. It's not supposed to be hereditary, but she lost her older brother, her middle brother, and two sisters to a form of leukemia. So all of them had a form of blood cancer. So they think it may have been environmental because she wasn't from here. Now, to put all this in context, my mother was hospitalized because her anemia was so bad, she was bleeding out of her nose and her eyes.
Ooh.
So she had to be put in the hospital. And this was in 2008, right before she passed. My father would go to the hospital during the night and stay overnight. I would sit with her during the day when I wasn't at school or work. I also had a daughter from a previous marriage. So I was raising my daughter. At the time, she was about 7. They wouldn't let her into the ICU because she's too young. So I'm trying to balance out. We don't have family here in the States because my dad's family disowned us because he married my mother. So there's no one to watch my daughter. I didn't have friends that I trusted with my daughter. So I'm trying to balance everything out, between trying to be at the hospital, trying to be a mother. Plus, I have a brother, which I've told you guys about, that has special needs. He has autism and retardation. And we are 5 years apart. But even though we are 5 years apart, where I am, 46, my brother is 41, he has the mindset of a teenager now. And but back then it was basically a child. So he's not developing as mentally, and he doesn't understand consequences. He doesn't have any of that stuff. He can't read or write. He's very easy to take advantage of. So my father, one day, it was about maybe 2 days before my mother died, he looked at me and he said, I hope you enjoyed your life, because when your mother dies, your life as you know it is over.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Now, now remember, to add some more some clarity here. I moved to Texas in 2005. I started working with Funimation. I was doing like Wallace sessions, bit parts, small episodic characters. I worked with a lot of directors. I made a lot of friends in the industry. It's why I'm able to do voiceover stuff now. Um, I left my career as a voice actor in 2008 when my mother got sick. Technically 2007. It was November when she started getting sick. In December is when she got diagnosed. So I came home from Texas to Memphis, Tennessee, because my mother was ill and I was going to take care of her. Um, so I came home, and again, I left my career. I got a part-time job. I was going to school for film, so I'm like, I might as well just finish my film degree. So I was doing all these things, and I was also taking care of my brother, taking care of my daughter, and helping with my mother. My father never saw that as good enough. My dad was the kind of person that basically would look me, a female, in the eyes and say, well, I think the best thing you can do is get married, have somebody's babies, and let them take care of you. Like I wasn't intelligent.
Oh wow.
So when I tell you my dad was
Chauvinistic.
an asshole, so my mother died. For an entire week, my father decided to get saved. He went to church, he got baptized, he went to this whole thing, but that was for a week. Like literally, he started church on Sunday, got baptized on Wednesday, and was done the following weekend. I am not making this up.
Oh my god. Well, I'm
So, long story short on this, my father started going to the club. Now, my dad had not had alcohol in years because my mother, when she met my dad, he was an alcoholic almost. And so he didn't, I will give him this, he didn't drink, but he was going and meeting women, and he was meeting women weekly. There were so
mm,
many women that my dad was hooking up with that it was starting to actually cross into my life because I would meet them. Like they would come and say, they would know my name and I wouldn't know who they were.
oh
Like it was
wow.
ridiculous. It all came to a head when my previous spouse, who I was dating at the time, came over, and my dad said, "You can't have people over my house because you're just going to be effing them." And so I said, "You know what? I can't do this anymore." I said, "You are a father. You need to learn to take care of your son." I took my daughter and I moved the hell out. And so my father, which I did not find out until his funeral recently, was telling everybody that I stole money from him and that I left his house while he was ill and unable to take care of himself. And I left him with his son. And so imagine my surprise when people that my dad worked at, my dad was in the military, but he also worked for the government. He worked at the Postal Service. He was an electrician. Imagine my surprise when people that were his coworkers, people that I had known since I was 9 or 10 years old, were coming up to me telling me what a horrible person I was for stealing all that money from my dad and all of this stuff. This happened at my father's funeral. Yeah. So
now I didn't even know that part.
I know. So I had so much stress because obviously I defended myself. I had to put a lot of people in their place and had to remind people that I am a grown-ass woman. I am not a child. I have not seen most of these people since I was a teenager. You don't know anything about anything. You were not living in that house. You didn't know the situation. You took my dad at his word and you spread all this crap around and you brought this to a funeral, which I think is completely ghetto. You know, so I was in my feelings, people. But because of that, I've always had really good blood pressure, and I know I've always talked about this on the stream. But the reason I've been saying that, like more recently in the past year, is I was diagnosed with stress-induced hypertension.
Oh,
So
wow.
I had so much stress, my blood pressure was skyrocketing to unhealthy levels. And so I had to wheel it in, and it affected everything, my job, YouTube, like it was everything. I can't tell you how many doctors I've had to go to, how many they've checked my heart, everything, because my shit wasn't right because I
Nah,
had so
I
much
do know
stress.
about that. You talked to me about that, so I knew that.
Yeah, so it was effed up. And to add on to that, when my father's funeral had to be planned, my dad is one of 21 kids. Now I need you to understand this, 21 children. Not one of these people came forward to help me plan a damn thing. Now, this is really funny to me because so my brother was left everything, which I didn't have a problem with. He was the only beneficiary. My dad took me completely out of his will because I moved out. He did, and it's fine. I don't care. But the problem that I had is that all of these people were holding their hand out. Like, oh, your dad had this ring and he always promised to give it to me. Oh, in the house, there's this watch he's always wanted me to have. I'm like,
But
people, are you fucking kidding me? Like,
but y'all didn't help
but you
us.
couldn't even, my aunt, hand to God, told me she couldn't even sign from my dad's body when I got COVID, because I got COVID 2 days after my dad died because my brother had it and I didn't know it when we moved him into our house because now we were in a bubble. He brought COVID into the house and all of us got it.
I
I had
remember
to
that.
plan I had to plan
I
a
remember
funeral.
that.
The VA hospital made me come to the hospital fully garbed, like I had on a damn hazmat suit, to sign his body to be exhumed so they could take it to the funeral home. Because my aunt, who lived 5 minutes from the damn VA hospital, said she didn't want the financial responsibility, but yet she's holding her hand out for shit. So there's that. There was that. Oh,
Oh, it gets worse.
we're just getting started, people.
It gets worse.
I told you guys about the woman living in my dad's house. I will not call out her name. I have a few choice names for her, but it's probably not appropriate for this video.
Well, we'll just name her Itch.
But we're gonna
How
name
about that?
we'll name her Itch. We're gonna name her Itchy. So Itchy, and my dad met her in 2009. He met her 7 months after my mother died. This woman is a gold digger like literally, she is 100% gold digger. She does this for a living. And I'm pretty sure my dad is not the only one that she's done this to. So when my previous spouse was diagnosed with cancer, because I'm having to backtrack, I know I'm jumping a little bit. My previous spouse was diagnosed with glioblastoma, grade 4. It is the worst brain tumor you could ever have. It is absolutely 100% terminal. And normally you can die. Some people can last a little longer, but normally it's like 6 months to a year. He lasted 36 months. But unfortunately, the tumor came back and it pushed his brain over. He had a stroke and he just didn't make it. So I was a caretaker for my spouse right after my mother. And my dad grew a tiny bit of a conscience, and he's like, "Hey, let's let bygones be bygones. I'm disabled now," which he was. He had COPD, diabetes. He had phlebitis, which are open sores in his legs. He had heart failure. You name it. That man. He had blood pressure issues, cholesterol issues. That man was sick. So I helped him because he didn't know how to navigate anything. I helped him get a VA loan. I helped talk to the realtors. I did everything to get him a house. I had a settlement. I spent like $16,000 on stuff in his house. Everything was okay the first year, but then I met my current spouse, River. Now, my dad is not a homophobe. He's not a transphobe. My dad is a person that likes to have a woman take care of him. So I was cooking and cleaning when I lived there, and I'm a voice actor. I can work remotely. So I never really had to go out a lot. It wasn't until I started dating someone and going out and staying at their place that all of a sudden my dad lost his shit. So he started telling my daughter that I didn't love her. He told my daughter that I'm spending all this time with River because I'm planning on leaving her behind. Now, my daughter, God bless her, she's like me. She didn't believe any of that shit. But
of course not.
And she would tell me this stuff. And so me and my dad would get into it. Now, where this woman, Itchy, comes in, she took the whole situation between me and my dad, all the tension, all the fighting, and capitalized on it. She got in his ear and said, "Well, I guess she doesn't love you. Maybe she's going to pull another thing and leave you like she did last time when your wife died. And, why do you put up with this shit?" So it all came to a head with this when my father, who was not taking care of himself, his phlebitis got to a point where there was water going into his heart from his legs. He had to go into rehab. And the only rehab they had available was an elderly care facility. It was a temporary situation. It was only supposed to be for 3 weeks. I had to sign the papers. I signed them. The first day he was okay. The second day he accused me of trying to steal his house, trying to steal his money. Now, full disclosure, anybody that knows my dad knows that my dad never tells anybody his PIN numbers. He was too paranoid to use the internet, so there was no online accounts, none of that shit. So how I would be able to steal his money, I do not understand, but that's a theme with my dad. That's what he does, because he was a habitual fucking liar.
I would say the person that actually stole the money was living right up on
we're going to get to that.
Oh, okay.
So he goes to this home. My daughter was still living at the house at the time because she was in school, and she wanted to help take care of him because he had phlebitis. He couldn't walk. As a matter of fact, we had to write the senator to get him one of those wheelchairs that was motorized because they wouldn't give it to him at the VA. They told him it was a 2-year waiting list because the VA is garbage. So we wrote the senator, and within like a week, he had one. So you need something, guys. Seriously, write your senators. It's not because they give a shit about you. It's because they want to get reelected. So write them. But so my dad lasted about 4 days in this elderly care rehab facility before he called an ambulance and made them drive him home because he checked himself out. So this is where it got interesting. So my daughter, being my daughter, she had done a lot of laundry. It was cluttered. She's a clutterer. I will admit it. My daughter's a clutterer. She likes to clutter shit. I get at her to this day. She's 26 years old. I love her to death. Brilliant girl, but she can be a slob sometimes. So I told you I'm being real here, guys. So he came into the house. I don't know what he said, but it led to him saying, "Fuck this. Your dog needs to go." He was going to throw our dog Simon out, who'd been living there for 3 years at that point. That I paid for. I was still paying for everything. I was staying with River, but I hadn't moved out. He called 911 and said that there was a stranger in his house and had them come to the house to remove his granddaughter.
Wow.
Now, I didn't tell them that this was his granddaughter till they got there. Now, remember, my daughter had been there since the house was purchased, and he had the police remove her. She called me in tears. We come up there. The police are still there. They're telling her to get her stuff. I'm like, "Why is she leaving? She's a resident." And the cops are like, "There's nothing we can do." Because in the state of Tennessee, the laws are made for criminals. And I'll get into that too. So I told my dad this. I said, "If you do this, there is no going back. I am done with you." and he did not stop the police from removing her. I went and spent $200 the next day on a moving truck. When I showed up with the truck, do you know who was at the house?
Mm.
Itchy.
Why am I not surprised? I'm not surprised.
So Itchy
I'm
moved in.
I'm
Itchy
quite
moved
sure
in.
Itchy had everything to do with your daughter being put out.
Oh, absolutely.
Mm.
100%. So she was in my dad's ear. So now this is where it gets even better. And I learned something later, but I'm going to go ahead and tell you about this now. So I got conservatorship of my brother when my dad died. We had to go to court. I spent $4,000, me and River, out of our savings account to hire
Yeah.
lawyers to do this process. I'm telling you, none of this shit is cheap. If I told you how much money we've spent, you'd probably cry right now in the
Oh,
past year.
trust me. You know I
Um,
know.
I mean, I'm so poor I can't afford to be broke right now. That's how bad it is. But I got conservatorship, and what conservatorship means is that I make decisions for my brother. I still let him have autonomy, but I am the one that makes medical decisions and all that because he can't read or write. I don't have complete control over his money because I didn't want to have that. So all of his money is put in like a trust. So I specifically didn't want to do that. But everything else to do with his health and well being is on me. The reason I'm bringing this up, and I'm going to backtrack a little bit to back where I was, is because when I went to court with Itchy to get some of my stuff back or my dad's stuff from the estate, she produced power of attorney paperwork that made her the power of attorney over my dad and my brother, that my dad had my brother sign for him, even though my brother can't read or write. And the date that this happened was exactly a week and a half after he called the police on my daughter in 2018.
Oh my god.
Like I said, a dick.
Oh my
So
god.
let me backtrack now. I just had to throw that little caveat in because I didn't want to forget it. So my daughter moved in with us. At the time, River couldn't break the lease. So all three of us were living in a 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom apartment. And we got a futon bed and made the living room her bedroom. That is how sad it was. My dad had a 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom house. And his
Mm.
granddaughter was forced to sleep in a 1-bedroom. And when he tried to reach out to her to make amends, my daughter, of course, wasn't going to talk to him. He would leave messages saying things like, "Oh, I didn't really mean for you to leave," and he was trying to backtrack because he knew what he did was effed up. But at the same time, this bitch was still living in the house. My brother would have personal assistants that were signed through a program that takes care of special needs people. He had 4. She ran 3 of them away. They all quit, one after the other, because of this woman. She would say, "This is my house. You can't touch this." Nobody was allowed to use the downstairs bathroom. There was a bonus room that my brother used to go watch TV. She made that her woman cave. My dad let her do all of this. My dad let her take his car, his brand new, at the time, it was a brand new Chrysler 300 that was fully loaded. Let her take the car. He let her take his debit card. Later on, especially after his pass, I realized that she had taken at least $40,000 to $50,000 out of his account. She actually went to the ATM the day he died and took $500 out, and took $500 out of my brother's account because my dad was blind. He lost his vision,
Yeah.
which I'll tell you about in a second. So she was going to the ATM. She knew all the PIN numbers. So she took money out even after my dad was dead, and was still squatting in the house a month after he died. And the only reason she left is because I had them turn the power and the water off in the middle of the summer, and her ass didn't want to die.
Oh, that was so hilarious. You guys have no idea how much I laughed.
So let me tell you some more. Now I'm going to get very raw here and very personal. And again, this is something I normally would not do. So as I was looking through paperwork, which one does when they're trying to deal with probate,
Mm.
I found out that my mother was not married when I was born. As a matter of fact, my parents were not married until I was 5 years old. Now, at first, I thought, okay, maybe it was because my dad was black and indigenous, but he was black passing, and my mother was a white woman. And even though they were over in Europe, they were coming to the States to live in Chicago on the base. Maybe that's what it was. But no, I later found out that my mother was still married to somebody else. Now, I can't get a DNA test because my dad's in the ground and it costs too much to exhume a body from the VA. And my uncle told me, oh, yeah, I'm pretty sure that the other dude is your dad. And then my other uncle was like, or my other aunt was like, no, that's definitely your daddy. Don't listen to that. So I don't know. So now I have this whole question mark of who's my daddy on top of everything else.
I know.
There's something else that I'm not ready to talk about with my dad that also went on with us, but that's a therapy thing. So I have to go. That's a whole other conversation. So I'm not going to go into that, but I will say as raw as I personally can that man had some issues with boundaries. Let's just put it that way. And you just make your own determination on that. But all right. So yeah, I had to deal with that. So Itchy was still in the house at the time, though. Itchy was cleaning it out. She got rid of our photo albums. We had 3. They were all in the attic because, I was born in 1976. There wasn't Google or Twitter or Facebook. There was nowhere to upload shit. So all our stuff was Polaroids and 35 millimeter film. So my mother would put all of these pictures. So I had baby pictures, mine, my daughters, my brothers, all of these baby pictures, all of these family pictures. This bitch shredded them. Every picture. My deceased spouse, who passed away in November of 2014, had done a portrait of my mother before he died, and she threw that out too. I have literally 3 pictures of my mother. I have her green card, I have her Sam's Club card, and I have her passport. Those are the only 3 pictures I have of my mother. I have nothing left. I have 0 pictures except for 2 that were scanned online of my daughter as a baby. I have none of me. If you ask to see my baby pictures or my childhood pictures, they're gone. There's nothing. Neither of my brother. We have nothing. This bitch literally threw out our entire lives. And it gets better. So after she did that and she stole all the property out of the house and the car, the police told me, well, technically she was living there, so there's not a lot we can do about it. You're going to have to go to court. So after 7 months, we finally went to court. They were only able to retrieve the car. She keyed the car the day she had to take the actual car in. I remember that. Did they arrest her? No. You know why they didn't arrest her? Because we didn't see her do it. Even though she had the fucking car, we didn't see her do it. Because that is Memphis fucking Tennessee, guys.
And not only did she have the car, she had the keys.
She had the keys? No. It gets better. You think that I'm done. I'm really not.
Oh, I know you're not.
So while we were in court getting the car, she produced a title to the car that she said my father signed and went to the bank to have notarized. Now, what's really interesting about this timeline is my dad was admitted into hospice on May 30th. He died on June 10th. My dad had small cell lung cancer. And he was 100% blind, and he was 100% completely immobile from the waist down. How in the fuck did he get out of the hospital bed and go to the bank, his bank, by the way, Regions Bank, to have a title of a car notarized while he was dying with a fucking breathing mask over his face in the hospital?
And I saw the picture, guys. She showed me when he was laying in bed, so I know that is true. I'm sorry, baby. I had to,
no, you're fine. You're fine.
I had to put that out there. I've seen it, so fine. I can vouch. I can vouch.
So my problem with that is, did she get arrested for that?
No.
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 When he died, she left the house with his wallet, his car keys, and his watch, and all of his belongings. Nobody asked who she was. Nobody asked anything. But remember, she had power of attorney, but over the person, not the items. So she used her power of attorney to take me out of the computer when we were at the hospital. So I got to see my dad once, but she blocked me from going to the hospital. And so when my dad died, nobody called me. My brother's PA called me to tell me my dad had died because they didn't know who I was anymore because I was no longer listed as his daughter in the computer because she had it removed. And then on top of that, though, when she realized that she would have to sign for everything, all of a sudden I was authorized now, because I'm got to pay money for the funeral. I was authorized to talk to then.
Oh, but see, what happened to the itch when she was taking the money? She was taking the card.
Oh, baby, she went to my dad's house and she locked the door. Oh, and my brother was still a resident of the house, but on May 30th, when my dad went, because Life Alert initially called me because I was one of his contacts. I went and got my brother because I'm like, he's not staying in the house by himself with this bitch. I'm sorry, it's not happening. So I went and got my brother. So she took his key. And so my brother was no longer allowed to go back into the house, even though he was a resident. So I called the police and I'm like, hey, I need to get my brother's clothes. I need to do this. They told me I had to literally file an adult protective services case to get my brother's own shit from his own house. So therefore, the squatter, the person had lived in the house with my dad who did not, she's not on the mortgage. She's not married to my dad. She only fucking lived there, had more rights than his damn son. Memphis, Tennessee, bitch. So you want to know why I'm leaving Memphis, Tennessee? I'm telling you right now.
Nicholas, you are right with the Vegas light, with the Vegas neon lights, because the evidence of blinking just like that.
And I'm not done.
And she ain't done. And believe you me, there is a lot more.
I haven't even gotten to the stuff that you don't know yet.
See, most of the stuff I already know. She is stuff that I don't know that she's about to tell y'all soon.
We getting there. All right, so because this, it's been when I tell you your girl has been through some shit.
I know.
It has literally been every. I can't even make this up. It has been every fucking day. I have to deal with something every fucking day. I had to deal with something this morning. It is literally every fucking day. So, like I said, we got the bitch out of the house. And she came back with her ex-husband and some guys. And they were cleaning the house out, and we caught them. And this is why she'd already taken the car at this point. I called the police. I called my law firm that is dealing with the estate because my lawyer was the executor or is the executor of the estate. And they told me that I needed to call the police, which I did. The police came and they're like, yeah, I'm sorry. Tennessee law doesn't really let us, really do anything. And so I literally had to watch her take my dad's shit and stuff that I personally bought out of the house because I didn't have receipts on me to prove that it was mine. So she was able to, in front of me, remove everything from my dad's fucking house with these people. And nobody would do anything.
See, this is the problem that I have because it's not like you're not his daughter and they know this is your father's home. How do they give a squatter full rights?
They said it's residency because she lived in the house. They said I had no way of proving these weren't her things, but my counter argument on site was, and you have no way of proving that they are her things. So then you should have just left them in the fucking house and let the courts deal with it. But they didn't do that. They didn't want to get involved. They didn't want to have a lawsuit. So they let her leave with all the shit. And that's basically, like I said, stuff I will never, ever be able to replace. Right. Like stuff my mother gave me, while she was alive, gone. I mean, it's gone. I had to come to terms with the fact that material things do not mean anything because it is what it is. All right, so let me fast forward. Like I said, the squatter's out of the house. We went to court. We finally got, the car back. I made her look like a bitch in court. I did. Your girl was on it. She was up there saying, your daddy wanted me to be protected when he died because he knew he was going to die from cancer and he didn't want me to have nothing. I'm like, oh, okay. So he cared more about you than his son. Gotcha. And the judge was like, yeah. What does that mean? And then she was like, well, I don't know what to do, but I don't want to give up the car because then I won't be able to go to work. And the judge looked at her and said, well, why don't you use some of the money you took out of his account and buy you another one? I was like, mic drop, bitch. I've never seen a Judge Judy and live, like in person. That woman took her laptop and slammed it on the desk and she said, let me tell you about you, lady. I was like, damn.
And you know what? I wish I could have been there. I wish I could have been a fly on the wall. Maria, you should have had me in your damn trunk. I would have snuck in the back. Because this would have been perfect.
I wish I could name drop this judge. This judge was on point. This woman was like, hey, let me tell you about yourself, bitch.
Girl, I get.
She was so mad. Her earring fell out. She got up and she's like, "And we are done." Bam. We walked out the room. And Itchy was so mad. Oh, she was mad. She was cussing up a storm. Okay,
I,
so let me leave Itchy for a minute. Okay, we'll leave Itchy for a minute. We're gonna go into my law firm because the
oh
drama doesn't
yes,
stop.
oh yes.
So I hired a law firm, and there's this lawyer who has been practicing for 5 years. Won't name drop, don't want a defamation case, but I will express the fact that this guy is incompetent. When we were first trying to get all the assets back, he was like, "Oh well." He's one of those people that's a big talker, but then when he gets into like front of the judge, he clams up because he doesn't
Mm,
want to make any waves. He's that kid in
mm,
school that talks a lot of shit, but then gets scared when you want to fight. That is who
mm.
he is.
Damn.
So he didn't want me going into the court case talking about the money that Itchy was taking out of the bank. He's like, doesn't look good, blah, blah, blah. I ignored his advice, and that's why we won the case. Um, but long story short, these are more recent events. So somewhere around July, I noticed that there was a wet spot in the ceiling of my dad's house. Now we're trying to sell the house because we have an insolvent estate. Insolvent means it's not worth anything because, or not worth anything. Your estate doesn't really have a lot of money because of assets that are being taken, which they were. Assets are gone. My dad, I'll just give you a number. My dad had like $30,000 left in his bank. You may think that's a lot of money, but it's
That is
not,
not.
especially when you have to deal with all the shit. So all of that went into the estate account. We had the value of the house. The house is a $300,000 house. And then we had his car, which is 25,000. That is literally all the estate has left after she took everything else. Long story short, and this is what Kenny doesn't know. He knew about the hole.
Yeah,
So
I knew about that.
basically, July, it was a wet spot. I even said this in court. It is documented. My lawyer's like, "Oh, it's fine." I said, "Well, the house has full coverage. We should know something about this. Maybe we can do something about this." He said, "I'll look into it." August, September, October, November, December, January. We had all these storms. There is a $22,000 man-sized hole in the living room.
Oh no.
So this man, 2 weeks ago, came to me and said, "I'm going to sell the house for $155,000. Remember, it's a $300,000. His reasoning is, well, there's damage in the ceiling in the living room, and nobody's going to actually pay full value now.
But you know this.
It gets better.
Oh
So
God.
I refused. I'm like, no. As a matter of fact, you're selling the house. And my dad had a $12,000 generator that is only a year old on the outside of the house. He wants to throw the generator in. So I said no. So then he gets his boss, the head of the law firm, to call me and tell me that if we didn't sell, that he was going to go to court and say that we were not being reasonable. But he said it doesn't really have to come to that because technically you made the lawyer the executor. You are not the executor, so he doesn't need your permission. So they're selling the house without my permission with the generator. And I literally had a panic attack so badly, I passed out and was unconscious for like hours. And I did not know how much all of this shit was affecting me until that moment. Because you think you're a strong person and you can be a strong person, but when you have so much shit going on and nobody is helping you with anything and everybody just wants your money and just wants you to make decisions, but then when you try to make a decision, they don't want to go by your decision. They want to do their own shit. So then what was the fucking point to begin with? It's just it is too much.
It
So
is.
as of the panic attack that I had, I put whenever my lawyer calls me now, it is set to go to voicemail. I refuse to talk to him. Now, he has my spouse's number, but he can't talk to me anymore because now I will go fucking Super Saiyan on his ass. So I cannot.
And we don't
I
need you passing out
cannot.
again. We do
um,
not need that. And I did not know that. I did not know that.
yeah, this all occurred recently. So, yeah, the house is already sold. Now, what's so interesting about this is, even though his stick goes to voicemail, there is an in-between guy that he has called me that is actually like a realtor, and a contractor. Um, and I left something out, and I will go back for a minute. But so the contractor calls me and says, "Hi, Miss Maria. Cam," and I'm going to say Canny. I'm going to call him Canny. Canny would like to know if you could do so and so with this paperwork. And you know what my response is to that now? I don't know.
No.
He's the executor. Why don't you ask him? and then I say click, and that is what I have done. Now, this is the other part, and then I'm going to backtrack a little bit. I got a bill, an invoice for all of these services so far, and it is $25,000 from my lawyer.
He can take it and shove it if
No. I got to break something down for you. This man charges $27.50 to open an email. A fucking email he doesn't even respond to.
Oh the fuck!
Oh yeah,
like you said, he doesn't.
it's itemized. It's an itemized fucking bill. He itemized every time that I would send an email, even if he didn't respond to it. It was $27.50 just for an email. If he had to call me, it's $35 on the phone. Yeah. So he's actually getting more from my dad dying than I am, and my brother is. That's great. I'm glad I'm not all about money. I'd be pissed. I'm like, because the law firm's getting paid. I'm not, but the law firm's getting paid. So I actually spent money in this. So I'm going to put a disclaimer out there. Number one, if you or your loved ones do not have a living will, because of course my dick father did not, which is why I'm in this mess to begin with, have a living will. I know you don't want to think about this shit, but trust me, when you don't,
you got to.
Lawyers, even the ones that handle your probate, baby, they are ambulance chasers. They are out to make the most money off of your grief or off of your shit. And they don't give a damn about you. They just care about that paycheck.
Let me tell you, my mom made sure she put all. My mom got a insurance trust split between me and my sister. I get 40,000.
Yeah, I have one for my brother and my daughter because I have a split, and then so first it goes to my spouse if my spouse is living, and with a little bit going to my. But then if both of us go, everything me and River has goes to my and my brother.
Right. So well, my mom got it fixed this way. No, even when she was married to her ex-husband.
I like that ex-husband.
Oh no, he's trust. She even when that was going on because they're going through their divorce. I think she should be getting her divorce next week. But even when she was married to him, she if anything had happened to her while they were married, he still couldn't get nothing. He couldn't get a thing.
That's what you got to do in this world. I mean, again, I've always been over this belief. This is my absolute belief system. Okay, what your parents have is not entitled to you. You don't have to get a damn thing.
No.
Now, if they leave you something to help you in life, that's fine. But that's their choice. I never have to get shit I never expected shit from that man anyway. So I never, ever expected a dime. And I don't think that anybody should go into this world. You need to make your own way, and your kids need to make their own way. And I'm not telling you can't leave them something, because I'm leaving my daughter a little bit too. Because I know this world sucks. We live in a capitalist fucking society. No matter how well you're doing, I mean, it is what it is. But I left her a little bit, in case something happens, whatever. Plus, nobody wants to be in a position like me. My dad was a vet. His funeral burial was paid for by the VA, but the funeral itself, no. The casket, all that shit, that was me. So, and we're talking $7,500 here.
Mm-hmm.
So, I remember all that shit. And I had to deal with all of that shit from a man who didn't even give a fuck about me. So what does that say? Just saying.
And then she didn't get nothing out of the wheel.
No. And again, I don't care. I mean,
I know. I was just making that.
Yeah, but it's just it is what it is. But like living will, people, I'm telling you, when people are like, do you have a living will? You should have something, and you can always edit it. Somebody pissed you off. Hey, my dad did it all damn time. Just fucking do it. I will tell you this though, he didn't leave anything to the woman either, which is a good thing, because if he had put her in the will, she would have gotten everything. And she wanted my brother, because my brother gets Social Security through my dad, and he's, my brother is special needs, and she wanted that check.
Oh, because now she broke, destitute, and thrown away. She got no.
Oh, baby, she's not broke. She's living with another old person now.
Oh my God. The whore of Memphis is back with somebody else.
And I don't understand. I mean, she looks like one of those weasels that had their face pushed in too much. It's actually kind of fucked up.
Oh
so she is not attractive at all. Okay,
no, she's not. No, she's not.
Yeah, I showed Kenny her Facebook profile.
Oh my
she is not.
Look,
she is not.
Look.
Look, I
still
don't
have
know. She might
nightmares.
look, and like she wasn't even in a sexual relationship with my dad because my dad was immobile and she wasn't doing all that. But I mean, for all these people to be giving her money, I mean, her stuff must be gold down there because it's not up here and anywhere else.
I don't
So,
see how it could be gold because her.
like I said, she and then my thing is, and I have a few more things to say. And like I said, I'm leaving some stuff out if you can imagine, because my life for the past few years has been a fucking Lifetime movie. So
It,
I want to talk about the events first that led to my dad going blind. He did not go blind from his diabetes. He went blind from cataract surgery. But let me tell you why he went blind from cataract surgery. He was given these drops that had to be put in his eyes 3 times a day for 4 to 5 weeks. Well, Itchy didn't do it. And my dad is stubborn. So instead of calling me or his sisters or anybody else, he called one of his friends once to come do it. And I guess it got to be too much for him. So he never did it. And he lost his eyesight completely. He woke up one day blind. And that's this woman who was claiming she was the caretaker to the judge. When that was brought
caretaker
up,
my ass.
when that was brought up in court, she was like, "Oh well, I'm not medically trained."
Well,
Yeah.
bitch, how are
Hold
you?
on, hold on. Did she go to jail for this?
No,
No.
because y'all know what that is called? Elderly neglect.
And you know what? Elderly neglect in Memphis is very hard to actually prove, even with the evidence. I'm telling you, Memphis, Tennessee people. I know the laws and politics are bad all over this country, but I am telling you, in Memphis, this shit is like it's like the fucking Twilight Zone. Um, I have a detective that I actually spoke to about her spending money and going to the ATM machine after my dad died. And of course, she's not authorized to use my brother's card. And the dates on it from my brother's card were the 11th. So that it was the 10th and the 11th. My dad died on the 10th. So she was using my dad's card at the ATM machine. He died at 4:20 p.m. She did a withdrawal of $500 at 9:32 p.m. on the day he died. And then she went to the ATM machine with my brother's card. So I had the cards cut off.
And that was the night that I took over for her with Charm because y'all know when she asked me to come on, she was literally going to the hospital. Or was she coming from the hospital?
I was coming from the hospital. I actually had a breakdown because because I didn't realize that it happened, and then I found, and I was like, I can't handle this. So, and again, I think you guys know I have polycystic ovarian syndrome. It causes me to gain weight. I gain weight, I lose weight. It makes me have all kinds of emotional issues. My hormones are completely imbalanced. I am a type 3, so I have very bad hormonal imbalance. And so it causes me to have anxiety disorder, depression, all of the shit. So when you have somebody who's already trying to keep their shit straight and deal with their own lives, and you have all of this other shit
that's piled on,
it is hard. And so it's been ongoing because it's literally every day. Like there's something every day. Like we don't have a Saturday and Sunday off. We literally get emails, texts, phone calls from people all the fucking time. So remember I told you I was not done. So let's talk about what led to us besides the whole having to sell the house really quickly in the first place. So my dad was with a bank. Let's call them Regions.
Because that's what it is.
My dad's VA loan is through them, and also his accounts were through them. I don't know why, but when I had the debit card of my dad's frozen, they froze the entire account, so they weren't pulling his mortgage payment out. Now, my dad had it set to auto pay, so really they could have taken their own money whenever they wanted throughout the course of any of this time, but they never did. So instead, what they decided to do was get a lawyer and try and sue the estate to try and sell the house themselves and make money off of it. So they sent me an auction letter that was going to be mailed out and sent to me like a week before the auction. So I really couldn't do anything. But actually, the reason that I knew about it was people were calling me to try and pay cash, those cash for houses places. They were bombarding my phone. They were calling me all hours of day. I had somebody call me at 12:30 at fucking night, I guess morning, and say, "Hey, I know that they're about to have a auction for your dad's house or for this house, the estate of my dad, basically." And I'm like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, you don't know about the auction?" I'm like, "No, because nobody fucking told me," you know. And so I tell my lawyer, and that's when he's like, "Well, we need to sell immediately." And I'm just like, I told my spouse, and God bless River. River, guys, I gotta
Now
go.
I'm glad he has not had a breakdown yet.
No,
Thank God.
he has,
Oh.
but it has not been to my level, and he's always the one that rules me back because it was like angry grandma came out once on the phone. It was not bad. It was not pretty.
Ooh, ooh. I
I
look
don't even
my.
know. No, she was like angry great grandma. Bitch wasn't playing. I was like, you. I was calm. I'm very professional and calm because I'm a voice actor, and you don't want to like you network. You don't want to blow your reputation. You don't be known
Patient.
as somebody who's crazy. But I'm gonna tell you, I lost my shit. Mm-mm.
Well, you deserve to. I'm like I said, River is a champ. He sits there and goes to bat with you, but like I said,
Well, okay. So I'm glad we're talking about River because this is another part of my stress. So living in Memphis, Tennessee, all of politics, all of the stupid
yes,
rhetoric, all this
hmm,
bullshit that's happening here.
yeah.
Um, on literally, it's ongoing.
I
Um,
know. I
my
want to talk about it, but I'm like, that's too much to talk about.
well, unfortunately, I don't have a choice anymore because it was one thing when they actually were coming after us, you know, for being, our blackness, basically.
Right.
There's another thing when they came after my uterus and told me I couldn't, I had no control over my own woman's body.
Body.
Now I have issues where, because I live in Tennessee and even the end of this year we're moving to Texas, it's the South. And because I am married to a biological female that is transgendered male and has not transitioned, and some people still see as female, we get one or two reactions. We normally
Oh
get
yeah.
homophobes or transphobes, and it is bad. River used to go to male bathrooms, not anymore. River will fucking hold his shit until we get home. That is how bad it is. We are terrified because there have been boycotts, shootings, all kinds of shit here. Now, to be fair, they're shooting everybody because Memphis has lost its damn mind.
Well, I
But
do
like,
remember. Yeah, I do know. Yeah.
but now it's like, I mean, the stuff that you hear and people will say shit in conversation to me, not realizing I am or married to the people that they're talking about.
No.
It's like, are you fucking kidding me? I have lost so many friendships since my dad died, and it's the truth. There are people that were actually on my channel that I am no longer friends with for reasons that are to do with what I just said. Not transphobia, but just other things. And we'll just leave it at that. So when
That.
people are asking why certain people aren't on this channel anymore, that is why. Um, when my dad died, none of the people that you've seen on my channel except for Kenny and Joe even inquired how I was doing.
Oh, I called every
So,
single day.
yep.
You, I was calling every single day, like I
Well,
did with.
well, correction. My friend Kevin and Kyle, the voice actors. So this,
Yeah,
is, I will say, they aren't voice actors that I'm talking about. But I mean, people you've seen regularly as
on
as
YouTube.
co-hosts on my
Yeah.
show. Not one word. Not a word. Because you need to know who your friends are in this world, and this is why I am not bitter about it. I'm grateful. It's just like people are like, "Oh my God, when Trump got elected, it was horrible." No, baby, it weeded out who it needed to weed out. You needed to see the cray. It
Yeah.
brought all these fuckers out of the closet. When something bad happens to you, it brings out who people really, really are.
And I
And
said,
so,
when he left office, I said, that's the only good thing he did for America. That is the only good thing.
I mean, it's I know it's seen as this bad thing, but I mean, Trump is a fucking joke. He's a puppet.
Mm,
He's on a
mm,
little string, and his little dumbass followers are the ones that are really the problem. He cannot have power if you didn't have dumbasses that supported him. And you
mm.
needed to weed these people out.
And I'm,
So it is what it is. I'm not gonna. I mean, obviously, you're never gonna say I'm a Trump supporter. I didn't like his ass before he was
oh,
president. So
I didn't either.
yeah.
I didn't
So
either.
yeah,
So,
I think that he, but what one thing that he did do inadvertently, he did not try to do it. He let you know who your friends were. Because when he got
Mm-hmm.
elected, all those Facebook posts that I was reading, I'm like, oh, these motherfuckers I've known for 20 something years are racist as shit. I'm like,
Mm.
wow, okay.
There
Now
you
I
go.
know.
There you go.
Now I
There.
had somebody literally at my wedding who was homophobic.
Why even come?
I don't know. Gave me a
Why?
really good gift, very
What?
sweet to my spouse, completely against my marriage.
Mm.
Never knew. Never fucking knew.
I'd be like,
That's how scary it is when they don't tell you, when they just go about your life hanging out with you and shit.
yeah, that I can see that being scary because it's like at least if I know that if you come to me and tell me, I know how to deal with you because I can stay over there.
Yeah.
But it's the ones that's coming into your house that is against you and you just don't know it. What are they?
Yeah.
What are their intentions?
Yeah. And Serenity. Oh Lord. Um so I will say this. I'm not gonna name any names on who these people are that I don't talk to anymore.
Process elimination. That's all I'm gonna
But
say.
there's a process of elimination. One's a YouTuber and the other two have been on my channel. But I will say what broke the camel's back for me is that I can't be friends with someone who I don't I don't think was ever my friend. And the reason that I believe that is because the other person, tipsy or drunk, told me that the person is not friends with me or not my real friend if I really knew it would hurt my feelings because people like me with my skin tone has kept them from getting jobs and getting ahead in this world.
Oh wow. The colorism
And
is there.
and normally you hear it the other way.
Right.
It's not.
Right.
So I was like, what? And so I asked to have this repeated, and it was repeated. I brought it up. It was brushed over and never addressed. And so I said, you know what? I am a 46-year-old grown ass woman. I don't
I
have
don't
time
need
for this
this.
shit. I was going through all this other shit. I said, I am not going to deal with this. So I cut ties. I let it go and I moved the fuck on. And that's literally how it is. That's what I do now. If people are not going to be there to support you and for you to support them and you have a fake relationship, then you just have a fake relationship. I don't have time. I can't do that shit anymore. I am too fucking old for it. And that is my raw truth. And so, yeah, I have the other person that I stopped being friends with is just for a petty reason. Um, this person got upset about something as petty as spoiling something on TV.
Oh
And I
yeah.
said, fuck it. I'm out. You can go off on me about that shit. And I'm gone.
Look, I do remember. I know all of these,
So
but
that is it. But
mm,
this person is not a bad person. This person is just very set in their ways. And I just can't.
childish.
Yeah. And I'm a Sagittarius. They're a Sagittarius. I'm like, let me just back up. One of these Sagittariuses has to be the adult. I was like, you know what? I'm done. I'm just not gonna engage. I don't dislike this person. I just don't talk to them anymore. So it's
That's
just for my
how it
own
was with
health.
me.
So I don't want people thinking, oh, you don't like it. No, it's not even about that. It's just that I need to separate myself because I'm in a place in my life that is not like that. I don't get
Mm,
upset about shit like that. It's just too
look,
much. I have enough kids in this house. I'm not trying to raise another, so I got it.
because you got to keep your
Um,
circle
you got
small
to keep your
because
circle small. I mean, and like I said, there are some amazing people. I have met a lot of amazing people in this journey.
mm,
But then I have met people because I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little weary now. I had somebody at my wedding that was, homophobic. I had somebody who obviously didn't like the fact that I had light skin. And also I forgot the best comment. We were talking about, being mixed. On if you were on TikTok, that there was like, I don't know why there's like this like war, not only with people against mixed kids or mixed people, but other mixed people are like fighting other mixed people. So the biggest debate now is if you have a black mother, then you're real. But if your mother is white, then you're just a white person pretending to be black. And I'm like,
what is
what?
this causing your bullshit?
And
What?
so before all this shit went down, I remember saying, oh my God, I don't understand, why I can't just say I'm mixed. I don't understand why I can't, guys. I don't understand.
I mean, This is what I
why?
say. This is
Wait.
what I say.
No, this
Go
is
ahead,
the part
go
that
ahead.
got me. This person's like, I don't give a fuck what you say as long as you don't tell other people they have to say they're mixed. And I'm like, what? Who made you the gatekeeper for mixed people? Like, what the fuck is that? So you know what? I'm done.
Let me just say this. You have two heritages. You have two
I have
races.
three.
Well, three races.
because my dad was mixed. My dad was his
Right.
father was indigenous, his mother was Nigerian American. So
And
yeah.
see, and then you have three races mixed within you.
Yep.
And you are a biracial person. Now it's up to you.
I'm gonna teach you math, Kenny. Multiracial.
Now it's up to you whether you want to choose which one you want to go with, or it's up to you how you want to classify yourself. If you want to say I'm multiracial, that is your business. If you want to say I'm black, that is your business.
Well, okay, but now, Kenny, look at it this way. And this is what I don't understand. I don't want to say any of this shit.
No, I know.
Nobody wants to say it. I mean, nobody wants to walk around a fucking billboard for all this shit.
I know.
I'm a multiracial queer person married to a transgender person.
I know. I'm just saying.
No, I know what you're saying. I'm just saying we live in a society that for some reason you got to have a fucking
Right,
label
you gotta have a
for
label.
every
And
fucking
why?
thing. And I'm like, I am so sick of it. But for me, it was really important because, I have a lot of health conditions. And when I go to the doctor, I need you to screen me for shit. And like at my doctor's office, they had me down as white. And I'm like, what the hell? I'm fucking white. So I'm like, I'm part Scottish, but I'm also part Nigerian. I'm also part indigenous. This is very important because what I may be predisposed to in my Scottish, life may not be another two, but obviously it's going to be the reverse of that. And so my dad had, I forgot he had renal failure. My dad had stage 3 renal failure. He had kidney disease from his diabetes, but kidney disease is very transferable to your children genetically, the gene anyway, and it's very prevalent in Black and indigenous and of course Hispanic culture.
I have it.
So you're not screening me for this shit. And we would go, me, my spouse, and my daughter all have the same doctor. They would get screened for kidney, like they would do the creatine bun test and all this A1C, all this stuff for them. But I get my annual back. I'm like, they didn't check shit. And I'm like, because they were checking stuff that they would traditionally just do for a European.
Right.
And so it's very important when you are mixed race to let them know that. Because if you walk in there and say you're just this, they don't screen you for the other shit. And so it is like, why? Oh my God. But saying that out loud in this country, it's crazy. And like I remember I argued this particular friend group down. I'm like, I'm contemporarily mixed. I'm not just historically mixed. Yes, there's some historical mixing on my dad's side because he's an American and he was a Black and indigenous man. But my mother wasn't even from here. My mother was born and raised in fucking Scotland generationally. For 12 fucking generations of her family. So I'm not going to be like, your mama was a slave owner. No, she was not. My mother was a Highlander. She was from fucking Aberdeen. They were fighting England. They didn't have time to have slaves. And then on top of that, there was slavery on my dad's side. But I mean, at the same time, my father met my mom. They had sex, and if he really is my bio dad, they had me. That is it. There wasn't some conspiracy theory. There wasn't some enslavement thing going on. Nobody was in a internment camp. There wasn't Days of Our Lives, Young and the Restless, none of this shit. It was just their choice. And I'm the product of that choice. And I'm fucking tired of having to say and defend that shit. I am almost 47 years old and nothing has changed for me since I realized the concept of ethnicity and race when I was 10 years old. That is fucking ridiculous.
It is ridiculous.
So if I lose friends over saying I'm mixed, I don't give a fuck. I'm letting you know that. I don't care because you weren't my fucking friend to begin with. And that's how I look at that.
Thank you.
So yay for that. Now, disclaimer, not for you guys, but for the people that will watch this video and be like, oh, that means she hates her Blackness. No, fuckers. That is not what I fucking said.
And you gotta get it. People gonna say it.
I get all the damn time.
They gonna say it because look, I get told all the time.
I flat iron my hair. That means I'm ashamed of my curls.
Oh no, she's not ashamed because she fell asleep in the bathtub getting ready for this, and I seen the frizz. So she ain't ashamed.
Hey,
She's
baby,
not
you see the
ashamed.
frizz. You see the frizz now. You want to see it? It's there. Your
She
girl was
look.
not trying to do shit. I
She
was like,
was.
now, if you want to know why me and Kenny were talking while I was in the bathtub, it is strange. But I was in Marco Polo. If you don't know this app, so it's not like he's seeing me in all my glory. He saw
No,
me
I
from
didn't.
here.
No, I did not
but
see her in
but
all her glory.
for some reason, our friendship love language always occurs in the bathroom. I don't know what
That's
that's
our
about.
rendezvous
I
spot.
don't know what that's about. We make all our decisions in the bathroom. It's really weird. It's
That's
okay.
our rendezvous spot.
It's
So
okay because our spouses are okay with it. So it's
yeah,
what it is.
it is. It is because there's times when I'm laying in the bed talking to Maria while she in the bathroom, in the shower,
It's a
in the
bubble
bath,
bath. It's
in
always a
her
bubble
bubble
bath.
bath,
It's a bubble bath.
or on the toilet. No
No,
disclaimer there.
I never use the bathroom though.
I
I
know
just
you
sit there.
don't. I know you
So
don't.
let me tell you why. So we're just being raw and revealing right now. My dog likes to play hide and seek. I don't know what he gets out of this, but he likes to play hide and seek. So I just sit in the bathroom. Now my dog is normally intelligent, but not all the time. Because I literally am talking to Kenny in a Marco Polo video, and this dog will walk by 5 times trying to find where the fuck I am. And I'm literally, we only have one bathroom, guys. I'm like, and it echoes. But my dog's like, where's mama?
Like, okay, I saw her like 3, 4 minutes ago, and me and her literally be talking.
Yep.
And
And finally, he'll peek around the corner, like, oh, there you are. I'm like, 25 fucking minutes later. Yes, here I am. But yeah, so that is my normal. I usually go sit on the toilet or get in my sound booth if I want a break from life. I'll
oh
hide
my
in here
goodness,
or I'll hide in the bathroom. I know that's weird, but you got to do what you got to do,
you gotta
especially if
do.
you have anxiety. You got to do what you got to do. So sometimes I'll
Look,
go in the bathroom and run the water in the sink just to calm down.
look, I'm gonna bring Maria on my channel so I can talk about my daily lives and all of the friends that had to leave and all that stuff. Had them, move them along. But I'm not gonna call names either because majority of them are YouTubers. So I ain't got time for
Yeah, that's
all
gonna
this.
be a spicy take right there.
Mm.
But like I said, I'm pretty sure that this video will probably upset some folks
Oh.
that I've mentioned but haven't. I don't care, but it is what it is. I just don't. It's my life. I can talk about whatever the fuck I want to talk about. As long as I'm not name dropping you, it's fine.
Right. Because, see,
So,
I'm not name dropping because I don't need the bull crap that's coming because, I got a lot of things, like Maria got a lot of good things going on. We don't,
yeah, I will talk about the good stuff, but let's do this, Kenny, because I know we both have a lot of stuff, but I wish I could say I was done though. I'm not.
But you're not.
I'm not done.
I know.
The
Keep
house is
going.
not closed. I don't know what's going to happen from this point on.
Why you tell them that I'm going to the restroom? Be right back.
Okay. I also have like weekly to monthly like checks on my brother because even though me and my brother grew up together, now that I'm his official conservator with my spouse, they have to make sure that we're not abusing him. So it's almost like adopting a child. You have people that are always questioning you, trying to see if you're fit and all this stuff. Even though the alternative is he has nowhere to go if we were found unfit. They'd probably take him and put him in a home, which is a constant stress for me all the time. So I'm always like, I gotta be perfect so they don't take my brother away. The stress from that is probably the worst stress out of this entire situation. But yeah, it's a good. I love how Kenny's over here talking about pork chops. We're gonna mute him for a second, but no, I feel like that is the biggest stress. That when you take the time, because I mean, when me and my spouse when we decided that we were going to be my brother's conservators or guardians, that means we took a complete responsibility for him. So he essentially is another child for us, even though he is an adult. He cannot be left alone. If we travel anywhere now, it's going to have to be with him unless he can stay with my daughter. But right now, she's not a conservator, so I'm not even sure if that's possible. So yeah, it's always going to be that way. He's going to be with me for the rest of my life. So I chose to do that. I did not want him going into a home. He grew up, with a family. I didn't want him to feel like he wasn't part of a family. And I have a really cool spouse, and that my spouse was cool with that. So. But I'm not going to lie to you. It is hard. It is hard trying to take care of someone who has special needs. Even though I love my brother, I think he's amazing. He is challenging. He has manic, days. He gets to points where if he doesn't want to do something, he shuts down or he throws a tantrum. So it is a thing. and it's tiring. So, the reason that your girl has not been on here doing all these videos is for all the stuff I just talked about, is because of that. And then on top of that, I am a working voice actor. And what that means is I whore my voice out for anything that will hire me. So
I'm sorry, I forgot to mute. I'm sorry.
now you're, oh, I muted you. It's fine. Um, I don't care what it is. Right now, I'm working on something. I can't even announce it because it doesn't start till May. I got to wait till they announce it on Twitter. But I am in something that is pretty cool.
Ooh,
And the writer of this is actually well known in the industry. So I'm really, really, really
exciting.
excited about this. So when I can announce it, I will announce it. I audition for things every single day. Sometimes I get them, sometimes I don't. A project that I really, really liked, got cast in. Everybody was ready to start recording. Last minute, they decided to cancel the project.
Oh damn.
And I'm like, oh, because you get all
But
hyped.
that's how the industry
But
works.
that's
I
how it
mean,
is. Yep,
that's
that
how
is
it
how
is
it is.
because everything could be green lit by the time you get ready to go into production. Right before you step on the stage, oh, no more job.
Yep,
We're
that is
done.
happening. I was in a game called Space Nor by Infusion Games. I was one of the lead characters. So there's like so think of it like Firefly basically. And so there's like a bounty hunter, and he finds this girl who's actually my character, who's actually like this super powered AI, but has like a human consciousness, and like there's a bunch of stuff. And I'm allowed to tell you about this now because the game was canceled. They have a
Cancel.
trailer or two trailers out. On my website, I do have a clip of me, and she's called the Child, but she gets a name later. But like this game was fucking cool, and I think I had like a 4 or 5 hour like session doing all her lines. It was just very, very cool, and it got canceled, and it broke my heart. I was like, no. So I was really, really heartbroken, and I would like to say that that's the last time that's happened to me. It is not. It is not. There are projects you get, projects you don't. But right now I'm having to rebuild my career because remember I told you I was a caretaker from 2008 onward. And so I lost years. So where I started off in anime, um, how do I put this? I started off in anime in 2005 before we had some of the more popular ones now. I think are like Christina V, Erica Mendez, all these people. I knew of them. We all talked, but they weren't even active in the industry when I was there. And now I'm coming back and they're like super famous and they're like directing, and I'm having to rebuild my entire
Start your
career
career.
from the start. And it is very frustrating when you got all this other bullshit going on. It is very hard. So I literally get up in the morning, I get auditions from my agency, I send them in. Because I work remote now and COVID for most people are over, which is so fucking stupid.
Which is still out there.
It's so stupid, but there's so many studios that want you back in person. And, I live in Memphis. I can't be in person right now. It'll change when I move to Dallas for some of these studios, but I mean, LA studios aren't going to work with me because I'm not in LA. So you're losing work a lot by not being local because of them trying to do it with remote recording. So that's another damn stress because that's my job.
Yeah,
So
and
I don't
see,
work, I don't make money. So
and see, the problem is if you have a sound booth, what is the problem?
there's
I
not.
don't understand.
There's not. Like I said, there's a lot of voice actors. If you go to Twitter, the haterade site that I had to take up. I still think it's full of haterade. There's a lot of haterade. There are some
It's,
really cool people in the voiceover industry, but there was a lot of haterade on Twitter.
mm,
So I still stand by that, but I have to use it for my work because that's how we networking. My auditions come through it, so
right.
I have to. I have to, guys.
Twitter's a
But
cesspool. Trust and believe.
the things I've read some stuff. I'm just like, are you kidding me right now? Did you really fucking say that on Twitter? What is
I
wrong with
mean,
you?
with,
Like,
with that, I don't even know what to call it. The ghost that's up in Twitter now who bought it. He just let in it and everything just go with it. I
yep.
mean,
There is so much porn on there. Oh my god, I did not
that was
realize.
way before he bought it. That was there way before he
Oh,
bought it.
I'm sorry, I'm old and new, so I'm still trying to figure out this Twitter world.
I've
But
been on Twitter
like,
since 2014, and I've been there since then.
somebody like sent me in my direct message a link to like a guy farting on a guy, like on his face.
Oh God.
And I'm like, what about me inspired you to link that to me? Like,
Shit. Look,
what is it?
I am not even upset with you for saying that.
I
I'm
mean,
really
I
not.
want to know what inspired it so I can change that about myself immediately. Because I don't ever want to see that shit again. I'm like, no. I'm
I don't
like,
think
what in
nobody
the
wants to.
hell?
I don't think nobody wants to see anybody farting on nobody. I don't even want to see it. If I don't even like the smell of my own stuff coming out my body, why would I want to smell somebody else's?
Oh Lord God,
That
baby
is
Jesus,
just
Buddha and Co.
disgusting.
I don't know. I don't know. I was just like, is this real life? So I've literally, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Twitter scares me. It does. It scares me. So I stand. I'm trying to get more followers from my YouTube group because the people that have been following me are there are voice actors, but there are also some people that are like weird, like weird.
I
So
believe it. I
I'm
believe
like,
it.
but like I said, I'm trying. I'm trying. This old girl's trying to get with the Twitter raid, but it's hard. Um, but that's when he's like, I'm not on Twitter anymore. But when I was on there, I never got DMs like that. But I did get follow these people because they gay too, and it was gay porn. Really, I haven't gotten the gay porn yet, though.
I'll link you.
I did see from one of our YouTubers. Um, I think he retweeted a guy sticking his tongue in a man's butt and playing with his balls. So I was like, oh, that's happening. I'm like,
Oh, it
I
gets
mean,
worse. It gets worse unless you want me to. I mean, I can link you.
look, I don't. I'm okay. I'm gonna say this for you, so you really understand. Even though I am pansexual and I have no problem with the men's anatomy, I don't want to see anybody. I don't care if it's heterosexual, homosexual, whatever you are. I don't want to see you sticking your tongue in someone's butt and playing with
Oh no,
anything.
I wasn't talking about
No.
that. I wasn't talking about that. I wasn't talking about that. I don't even want to
But you
see
know what? If you get off on that, you do you. I'm not gonna judge you for that. I just don't link it to me because it's not gonna do anything for me. Hell, it might even piss me off that nobody's doing me right now. I don't know. Who knows? Who knows?
Oh
Okay.
my god, my glasses fogged up after that.
So let's talk about positive things. So I am moving to Dallas at the end of the year. I'm finally getting the fuck out of Memphis. Yay.
Well, I
So
don't know if
excited.
Texas is gonna be even better with
It will
hotness
no
down
no
there.
no. Politics are not good anywhere in this country.
It's not.
It's
It's
not.
not.
But I will take Texas currently over Memphis because Memphis is smaller
Yeah, I know. I remember.
and Dallas is huge. So even though there's confuckery everywhere, at least I know it might take a minute for it to get to me versus what's happening in this place.
Child.
Because just this week alone, we had my spouse said somebody got shot at washing their car at the car wash,
Wow.
and an employee, like literally, I guess I got into a confrontation. It was at a Checkers with somebody in the drive-through, pulled out a gun and started shooting at the person in the drive-through. And I think it was over an order change. Which means why the hell are you hearing a gun to your damn job at Checkers?
This is, and we had that problem here in Georgia because you know the idiots here they open carry regardless
Well,
of
and yeah, that's already like I said. I never want to debate gun control stuff. I personally don't like guns, but I'm not
I
going to tell
don't.
somebody what to do. I do think that there needs to be better checks and balances on who gets a gun. Because I'll tell you now, I don't even know how to load the gun. So if you give me a gun, tell me I can have it, and there are no repercussions, which they really seem to not be, I might shoot people accidentally. So and then be like, well, what happened? Well, you told me I could have a damn gun. So, but
That's I mean
like I know here, but the problem that I have here in Memphis is not just the crime, which has tripled. It was already bad. It's tripled. The police are understaffed. They're underwhelmed.
mm-hmm.
So like right down the street is a hot spot for infinity people. I call them infinity people because a lot of people down the street own infinities. And they get their car stolen, then they get it back, then they fix it up, then they get it stolen again. Now they're like busting in people's windows, they're busting into their house windows, they're going up to people's cameras in front of their houses and waving when they're stealing shit. And the police are like, well, there's nothing really we can do. You can go online and file a report. And half of them aren't even coming out anymore. So it's like, I cannot. We stopped going to the drive-in because there was a shooting across the street from it. And I'm like, I
I
can't.
remember you told me that. Yeah, I remember.
Mhm. And
Mm-mm.
these aren't even gang related. These are literally people pissed off that are shooting at each other because they have lost their fucking mind. So I can't.
Mm.
They haven't even caught the guy who's been, if it is a guy who's been shooting people on the highway, randomly shooting at cars, and has been happening for 2 years now. Just randomly shooting at cars on the highway.
Mm, mm,
They've
mm.
actually, I think they killed somebody. They've injured a few people. They've done a lot of damage to cars. It's just completely random, and they don't know who it is.
Disgusting.
So
So disgusting.
yeah, I'm just tired. I just need out of here. I can't do it anymore. I can't. Even my doctor was like, my best friend was sitting at a light and somebody opened her car and reached in, took her purse, and got back in their car and then drove off. And they're like, now they're telling everybody, do not drive here without your doors locked at all times, because they're doing that. And 13 and 12-year-olds are used to steal your cars now because they're smaller, and they're all, every time they show like mugshots, and a lot of them are like little 12 and 13-year-olds that are jacking cars because it's obviously a ring. But like it's just so stupid. I actually love the fact that I have a Prius because nobody fucking wants that. Nobody wants a fucking Prius. I'm like, yeah, I have a Prius, and nobody gives a shit about a Prius, so I can put my car everywhere. Then they will break into every car around my car, but they will leave my Prius alone. So I'm okay with that.
Oh my goodness, I know, right?
Yeah, but like I said, the crime here is just fucking insane. All right, but yeah, we're gonna talk about good things. So I am going to be setting up my Superman and Lois stream for Saturday. I do apologize. I know I'm behind. I know we have the Owl House, if you follow me for that. L Word Generation Q, which is now canceled, which honestly, I don't have a problem talking about here. The writing on Generation Q kind of pissed me off. There were things that I liked about it, but there are things that are just, are you really do you think as audience members we're this stupid? You know what I mean? It's just, we can tell you were trying to find stories and to try and hook characters up that do not make sense. They also put me as a parent in a place where I feel like maybe I'm a bad parent, and that is when your child talks to you a certain way that you brought into this world and starts cussing and pushing. You gonna learn about that on Saturday. But this also happened in Generation Q of the L Word, and all I can think about was I would snatch a knot in her ass in front of everybody in this room. Everybody in this room. We gonna be like, WWE, bitch went down. Like,
Oh
no.
my
And
goodness.
they're all like, oh my God, well, I guess she's just upset. The fuck? If I did that to my mother, my white ass European mother, girl wouldn't be here. Her
Oh, y'all
dad would not
already
have
know what
gotten
black
involved.
mamas do, so I ain't even got to
Now
explain.
I'm
Y'all
gonna
know what
tell you
black.
this: we would not have made it up the chain to daddy. My mother would have taken me out of this damn world if I did that shit.
I'm gonna tell you, y'all know what black mamas do, so I ain't even got to explain. So they'll say
I
it.
I L Word Generation Q, like I said, it had potential. There are characters that I liked, but their writing suffered. They had this writing room that was very interesting to me. They always they were always like authenticity, authenticity, authenticity. It's not actually true. Case in point, they didn't want Carmen to come back because she's not actually Hispanic. I think she's from Libya, or she's definitely, I think she's Middle Eastern, but she was not at all at all Hispanic. So she was playing Carmen, a Hispanic character or Latina character, but she wasn't.
But see
And
now,
see, but no, this is my point, and I know that people gonna be in their feelings about this, but I don't care.
that's what I'm gonna say.
Bet and Tina had a daughter. Tina carried the daughter. There was a father who was black, who was he donated his sperm for the cause, because obviously Bet, who's biracial, she's black and white, could not get Tina pregnant because they don't have the equipment. But this would make Angie, it would make her mixed. They cast a completely black girl. How is that authentic? You couldn't find one damn mixed girl to take this damn role. Now the girl's beautiful and she's like damn good actress. Although the way they wrote her, I want to smack the shit out of her all the time. But she literally is not a mixed race person.
Cause see, that's what I'm gonna say with the Carmen situation. Y'all casted her way back when, and I hadn't even seen the L word,
Well,
but
their argument is, if we're going to be authentic, their argument is that was the old crew and
but
writer staff, which it was.
which it was. But I mean, you got this character that's already established and is
Yeah,
already brought to life. You can't recast this character, so why not just go ahead with it? It makes no sense
I don't
now.
know. I don't
Cause
know.
see, you know the Jake from State Farm commercial when
Huh.
they recasted him. Because I love the white guy who played him, but they recasted him with the black guy, which I'm here for the blacks. I'm here for us
Why did they
getting
recast
our
them? Why didn't they just have a brand new character?
because I found out that the white guy was never supposed to be casted. It just so happened that he was sitting there. They filmed, and when he said khakis, they just left him. And they always wanted an actor. They never because he worked for State Farm, and they
Huh.
didn't really. He didn't really want to do it. They didn't really want to have. They really wanted an actor, but it was endearing, so they left it. And so when they did the reboot with his name is Kevin, the black guy, I like him, but I just like the real and the guy name
Probably
was Jake.
Because Jake probably was very natural. That's probably why you liked him. You could relate to him more. Yeah.
But it was so funny. He was so funny. But like I said, I'm up. I'm here for us black people getting our just due. I'm here for us getting the jobs and stuff. I just miss Jake because that was the funniest
Well, I think it's
thing.
interesting that that these damn commercials have reboots.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? Like their TV shows.
Because see, when the wife came downstairs and thought her husband was cheating on her, and she was like, "Who is this?" Jake from State Farm, and it had his voice and everything. And so she was like, "So what are you wearing?" Jake from State Farm, and they cut to the new footage, and you got Jake, the real Jake, that's sitting over here, and the actor Jake, and he was like, "Do they always ask what you're wearing?" And he's like, "Yeah." And so he was like, "What khakis?" And he go on, and I'm like, "That's not funny," because after when Jake says khakis, she turns around and said, "Oh, she sounds hideous." I got that saved in my playlist on YouTube. That is my favorite
Oh my
commercial.
god. You see, that's problematic. I just didn't realize that they did. Like it's like Taco Bell when they do those like epic trailers and you think it's a movie trailer and it's like
Oh
nacho
yeah.
fries. I'm like, what the hell? Like, I was getting into this plot. But there is a commercial that literally annoys the hell out of me. And it's like these people reenacting Clue, and the guy's like, the butler did it. And then the butler like runs off. And he's like, this is not a commercial. I'm like, what is happening?
No,
I'm like,
I never seen that commercial.
I have to find it. It is so annoying to me. That is annoying ass commercial. But
And that will be because when they say it's not a commercial and you know exactly it is a commercial,
yeah.
really,
Yeah, that is a
really,
thing. All right, so guys, I know I'm not gonna be here much longer because we're already almost to an hour and a
yeah,
half.
I
And
gotta go eat. So
Kenny's got
y'all
to eat
know.
his food. When he doesn't eat, he beats his spouse. So I gotta make sure that the beast is. He's like
I
that Snickers
remember when we
commercial.
first met. I beat you the first night I came on with
I
you.
know
Remember?
you're just so violent, Kenny. I don't want to tell you, it's fucking violent. Um, But no, again, we are definitely doing unless another tornado comes through here, which for some reason,
I
gratefully,
hope
it
not.
skipped it went around us. Like we were here and it went around us. And unfortunately it hit Arkansas, Mississippi, and other places. But yeah, we were lucky that I think it's because we live in a bluff, which is why Memphis is called the Bluff City. It really is. I can't make that up. They kind of like if they don't go down the street, they just jump over us and they go somewhere else. Not to say that they don't touch here, but they normally don't. So I've been very lucky, but we had a lot of torrential rain. We had floods, we've had
Oh,
blackouts. It's been crazy. It has been crazy. Xfinity was playing this game of let's turn off Maria's internet for no damn reason.
oh yes. Oh, I remember that.
I was
Oh,
pissed. I had I think it was a 3 hour voiceover session, and they turned my internet off an hour before my session started.
ooh, and
And
then
that's my money. You're literally making it so I can't pay your asses. And then I called them and they're like, "Oh, well, we don't know what happened."
I don't know what made it so funny is after you made that post and then they was like when the when your voice coach rescheduled
No, that was the
the
session. The coach
other
I
session.
actually got to do. They made it for like I think originally it was going to be on the 15th of March, and then we had to change it to the 27th. The whole day, the 15th, it turned off that hour, but it came back on the moment my session would have started and did not go off the rest of the damn day. I'm like, these motherfuckers.
And
And then
then now this is the funny part. She comes back on. She tells us in the same sentence when they rescheduled the session for her to do her voice. For her to do her voice. Oh, Comcast magically does the same thing
yep,
on the same
they
day.
sent me another damn email. I'm like, are they in my house? Do they know my schedule? And I'm like, no. So I'm like,
I,
I told
I was
my
like,
director.
oh my god! I said they are playing with you. I told her, I said they are playing with you
Well,
because
and
they
it's because and it was so bad, Kenny, because like the first session that I was supposed to have, I don't normally have sessions like this. Normally, when we record as voice actors, it's one on one. But
right.
there was supposed to be 5 of us all recording our characters together, so interacting with each other. So they all got to be together, and I had to do mine as pickups on the 27th, which pissed me off anyway. But like, it's like, why would Comcast knowingly send me another damn text message? And of all the damn days between the 15th and the 27th, you're going on the 20 fucking 7th, tell me you're going to turn my internet off again, talking about we're updating fiber optic lines. Fuck you. No, you're not, because it's still shitty. Nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. So I pay for a business class. So, I pay a lot of money for internet because
Right.
we work from home. And some days it's like somebody took some sticks, some stones, and some wire, and they're physically pulling the websites up. That is what it's like some days. So I think they're full of
I told
shit.
your ass don't be making me laugh.
I'm sorry. I'm
Oh
sorry.
my god, my head hurts.
Anyway, I'm sorry. I got on a tangent here. So let's stop talking about these corporate people that make more money than always will than I will. All right. So yeah, Saturday, Superman and Lois is definitely going to be our stream. I have been watching The Mandalorian. I'm trying to wait for that to end because I'm trying to see where it goes. I've been watching that and Picard, the last season of Picard, which both are very, very good. I am addicted to. Honestly, I am really addicted to Station 19 right now, which is interesting. I know that's not something a lot of people probably watch, or if you do, hey, we're on the same train. But I am very addicted to that show. I DVR it because I can't watch it when it comes on because I'm usually working, but like I will watch it like the next morning. I really like that damn show. And then I've really gotten into Quantum Leap,
You know
which
what? How
is
is that?
really
Because
good.
I really because
It's
see, I like
really good. So I didn't think I was gonna like it because once you see the original show, you're kind of like, how can they make this better? But you
yeah.
know what though? It's actually really effing good. It's really good. They've added a lot of because it's not a reboot, it's a sequel. So they still acknowledge Sam and everything that went on with him, but
Did
it's
he
a
ever make it home? Because
sequel.
I don't even think they had a
No,
series finale.
there's actually they talk about that. I don't want to spoil anything because they talk about all
We'll
of
talk about
that in
behind
the
the
OG.
scenes.
But I will say one of the characters is the daughter of one of the characters in the original. And
Mm.
there's just a lot. But Ben Song is actually a very cool character. And him and his fiance Addie, I mean, they have pretty good chemistry. And like all the characters in there, and they have a trans character in there too. And I'm really impressed with how they do this. Every episode is very engaging, and they have like guest stars that you'll recognize and are very cool and other stuff. So like, I really am liking Quantum Leap, and I think the season finale aired Monday, and I haven't watched it because I watched that one. It's either on Peacock. I think it's on Peacock.
Yeah, it's on
Yeah.
Peacock.
So I usually watch it on Peacock because I don't have as many commercials to deal with as I do when I watch it on mainstream and DVR. So I usually do that. But I've been watching Quantum Leap, and that's really good. So
Oh,
those are
don't
the
forget
shows.
Mighty Morphin Power
Yes, the
Rangers.
Power Rangers 30 years later. I just have questions though, because like
We're gonna have to talk about that. We're gonna have to talk.
we're gonna review that.
Oh
That is a
yes.
thing. That is
Oh
happening.
yes.
But I mean, I've always had a problem with Kat. Not as a character. I didn't have a problem with her as a character. Her height. because she's like what 5'10", 5'11", and her stunt double is always like my height, 5'5", or like shorter, 5'4", and it's like she shrinks. Remember when Justin on the Power Rangers, especially when he did Turbo, he would like grow, like this little 10-year-old, he was like really
Yeah.
big guy. It's like, how do you expect me to believe that Kat is in that damn suit right now? And
Because
it's
see,
like they have
if
the
you
same stunt
remember,
double.
I'm gonna say this. If you remember, her when Kimberly gave her the power coin and she became the Pink Ranger. If
Mhm.
y'all remember, her stunt double, whoever was in the suit was so big that she was like a toothpick in that suit. It like it was literally would have fallen off of her. But when Kat got in it, it fit her a little. It fit her like it fit Kimberly. Go back and watch them episodes in the back. I'm telling y'all.
I didn't go back. Well, I know that was the thing that always it just confused me, because I remember when Justin would take off his helmet,
Yeah.
he was like 3 feet tall. And I'm like, so how are you in the suit as a grown ass man? And that same thing with Kat, it's in reverse. She would just shrink. She'd be like this tiny little. And so I saw the trailer, and that was the one thing that stood out to me. I'm like, oh, she's shrinking again. Like, this seems to be a Power Ranger problem. Is this one of your powers? I'm confused.
It's just a stunt double problem because they should be casting somebody a little taller or the same height.
Well, yeah, and they always take liberties in Power Rangers. They always undo their own stuff, because let's be clear, the power coins should not be working anymore.
Well, if
So
I think they're supposed to let us know how that worked because even in one of the episodes, because I started watching Power Rangers after Dino Thunder.
yeah,
Um,
Adam was in Power Rangers in Space. That's probably what you're
right.
thinking about, and he had the power coin, but he couldn't use it very
No,
well
no,
without hurting him.
he came back with a fully charged and repaired Morpher
That
down in
well, yeah, that was later, another crossover. But remember when he was
yeah,
on Power Rangers in Space and
yeah,
he was
that
helping
one was
Carlos?
broke. Yeah,
It was,
that one was
yeah.
broke.
So like to all of them should have been that way before they got the Zeo crystals. So I don't know why all of a sudden these people, and like the people that have the coins, that still have the coins, I don't understand how they still have the
Now,
coins.
see,
So
okay,
it's
now
just weird.
It's Trini,
Trini,
Zach.
Billy, Zach,
No,
Kat.
Trini's. Hold on, no. I'm saying, who still have that coin?
Oh,
Jason, Trini, and Zach. Because remember, they
Trini didn't have her coin. Aisha got her coin.
no. Remember, they copied the powers. I mean, it's there. I mean, there's
I thought they got their. I'm gonna have to go back and watch.
yeah,
It's
they
been a
did get
minute,
their powers from
because
them.
I thought they got their power
They
coins.
did, but they didn't. They got what remember the Sword of Light that Tommy and them they had to go to this other place
Yeah, I
to
do
get.
remember sort of like.
Zordon copied their. Now this is how they explains it. I mean, this is a fan theory. I don't know how true it is, but it's a fan theory. They copied the powers using the Sword of Light. Jason, Zach, and Trini still have the original morphers, but Adam, Rocky, and Aisha had the copies. So because it had to be explained how Jason got his morpher back in Forever Red, and now
Hmm.
we got to figure out how Zach
Yeah,
get his.
Perel said only the ninja coins were destroyed, which is true. But I thought that the original Dino coins were actually damaged to the point where it would make them sick, like when
They
Adam. Because
they
Adam was even
were.
trying to, yeah. So I don't know. All I know is, look, they take liberties, man. I'm
Look,
I'm
we
waiting
gonna
for.
find out what it is, and I cannot wait because I'm
I'm
gonna give them the
waiting.
girl when we do it. Because
Yeah.
look,
Well,
we
I'm
gotta
waiting
talk.
for Super Dino Fury. Is going to be pretty cool too.
Oh
So
yeah,
I'm
and
actually
see,
looking at him.
I hate what they're gonna do with Super Dino Thunder because I really like I like Coup Danger. Coup Danger was so good, and those mechas they're using came from Coup Danger.
Yeah.
That show was so good, and I
They don't, but
cannot.
see, they don't have the budget to do that for 10 episodes. You know, they can't do all the stuff they did with Q. Hell, their damn henchins took like 15, 20 minutes. They're like going
I
to the
know
whole
because they
damn.
would have
Hold
like
on, we're only the green.
but how wait they had like
There's like 10
10.
or 11
I think it
Rangers
was
for Q
12. I think
Ranger.
it was 12. Cause see,
Might see.
I hated the morphers. I really hated those Kuthamas that they had on their arm. I hated them.
They
But
were
I
pretty
did
bulky.
they
They
I
were
mean because
bulky.
they had to carry them around like this and the whole arm was it was their morpher. So it
Yeah.
was like I hated that, but I did like when they used the globe on it and the Kutama started talking. I
Oh yeah.
love that. Like when they it was like Kutama say the name. Oh, I used to love that. I just sit there and just love to
Well,
hear
like
the
I said, we
people.
definitely do a stream about that. Okay, so I've been watching Sentai for effing years.
I love it.
But ironically, my first ever Sentai that I saw was Five Man. Don't ask me why.
I actually went back and watched Jude Ranger because I wanted to see the actual story,
Yeah,
how Power Rangers came. But see,
how
when
Rita
I
Repulsa is actually basically Satan.
oh my God, y'all
Yeah,
think Rita is bad?
Satan was in
Bandora is off
it.
the damn charts,
Yep,
and she
but
literally gave her life to Satan.
yep,
She gave her life
and
to.
was using Satan's powers.
Sure
Yep,
was.
she was Satan, and she basically was Satan. She was a kind
I
of like
mean,
a physical form. Yeah,
but I mean, you got to watch the story. I'm not gonna spoil it. It is like 30 some years old, but you got to go back and watch it because it is a reason why she is the way she is.
yeah,
And I mean, things get resolved because she was not a bad person. She really wasn't. So I'm gonna leave it at that.
yeah. That show, but like I love it. Go Kaiser is still my favorite, but I watched the first 2 episodes or 3 episodes, I think it was, of King Onger.
I
Man,
ain't watched.
that
I
show is they got a budget, and I love the fact that these people are all like royal or like leaders, and they don't they're literally like each one of them have this mentality of like it's kind of like 12 kingdoms. My kingdom is better than yours, or I'm selfish and don't give a fuck. And it's got such Go Kaiser vibes that it's like I'm back in. It would be like if all the Go Kaisers were royal and not just like all of them
mm.
were royals. It's really good, and they have a purple ranger, and she's got a crazy right eye. They showed it in the trailer. I haven't
Man,
watched the new episode with it, but I'm pretty sure they talk about it and they explain it more. But like, it's crazy. She wears like a mask, like a black mask over it. Like
I'm gonna tell y'all,
it's a mess.
y'all may think Sentai is not really good, but I'm gonna tell you, Power Rangers is good, but
Sentai is
see,
very good,
Sentai is better because it has a story.
and
Power Rangers,
the music's better.
yes,
They
but
always
Power
think about
Rangers
the right
don't have a
music.
story. It's just more. It was more appealing to kids. Now they do have plots, but they don't really actually have a story.
Well, they remember when Disney got it, they started following some of
The
the actual plots. So like Ninja Storm was a lot like Hurricane, almost verbatim most of the time. And then of
man.
course Lightspeed kind of did their own
Oh, I
thing.
love Lightspeed.
But
Oh
what's
God,
interesting
that was
is
my
so Go
favorite.
Go 5 had a similar. I mean, it was kind of similar, only they were all siblings. It was 4 boys and a girl. They were all siblings. They didn't technically have a sixth ranger. They had a girl sometimes that
Yeah, they now
but they
Titanium
didn't really
was
have.
American
That was
original.
American made, yeah. But they did, instead of having all of them be siblings, they just had Dana and the Titanium Ranger. I think
Ranger,
Ryan
yeah, Ryan,
were
yeah.
brother and sister. But
I'm gonna
like,
tell you, that was my favorite, and I still love Lightspeed. Their theme to this day, I
yeah,
love it. Oh my gosh!
yeah.
Next time y'all see me in probably another year or so, I'm gonna have a super train up there.
Well, you go with your crazy stuff, but I can't say anything. I got all kinds of Sentai stuff in the other room. But no, like when you look at the plots, though, like I want to say I know Ninja Storm definitely was closer to Hurricane than mostly some of the other ones, but Operation Overdrive got on my nerves, but they had Bokanger elements into
Oh
it.
my god!
But they threw in some shit because they always got to make it different.
And then they had to do the rap, which I mean, they said that was the worst Power
Yeah,
Rangers.
Jungle Fury did have a lot
I didn't like. I hated
of
the suits.
elements
I
from.
really hated the suits. I
Really?
really did. Yes. I mean, I know they were different, and I know it didn't follow the scheme that they always were. They were spandex, but they didn't really. They had a different design, but they just looked like leotards to me. I'm just
Well,
saying.
I
I mean,
mean, I guess I could kind of say that. Geki Ranger, I mean, it's the same suit, so I mean, it's not like it's Geki Ranger though followed the same. Like they would have the different masters and they would learn different
yeah.
techniques, so it was almost close in plot too. Um, but I feel like Go Buster didn't really have a lot in common with its counterpart, other than the fact that, well, no, they really didn't though. So no, they were there. I mean, they had similar like the date. They had like data monsters and all that stuff,
Yeah.
but it really wasn't. It really wasn't the same. So
Oh,
it just there's some shows that were, but I mean, honestly, For me, when they took Shinkanger and they made Power Ranger Samurai, I was like, but he's white. And like I've always tried to understand because there's some things you just can't culturally do. If they had a big Power Rangers Black Panther team and they had a white leader, people be like, "What the fuck," right? But it's the same concept with samurais because historically, even
They're
though they
Asian.
did have a few foreign people that they didn't really talk about a lot, traditionally when you think samurai, you think of Japanese culture. It's a
Mm-hmm.
Japanese thing. It's
Mm-hmm.
historical. So the fact that you had all these white people in it that were like, I'm a generational descendant of
And that,
samurais, and
and
I'm like,
I'm not gonna lie, I actually liked the show, but I was there
well,
right
they
along
were.
with
It was
you.
actually. I mean, they were trying to copy almost exactly Shinkanger. It's just that they didn't have an Asian leader. To me, if I would have written that show, and I've said this before, I would have made it so they're pretty much their parents were our great great grandparents or whether were like retainers, and they were retainers because they helped a samurai, and maybe the samurai didn't have descendants, and so they gave them the power and said, carry on my legacy through your family. That
Right.
I would have bought. But it is so hard to believe that Emily from the trailer park
And she
is a
was.
samurai
And
descendant.
she
Like
was.
it's so hard for me.
And
It really
then
is.
and then they had what was the leader name? Jaden?
Jaden.
They had Jaden's sister, who really was the Red Ranger, come in and take over. None of the team liked her. They liked him, even though he was an asshole half the time. But they liked him.
Yeah.
But she came in. She was. I mean,
That's
but
straight
I.
out but that's straight out of Shinkanger though. I mean, it wasn't his sister. He was actually her shadow, so he was protecting her while she trained, and Karu was actually the real Red Ranger. But what she did was even worse in the Japanese version. She adopted him, even though they're around the same age, and now she's his mom. So he actually could be the. I'm like, that's why not?
Oh my god!
This is my son. We're 2 months apart,
But we're really brothers and sisters.
but they had no relation at all in the
Oh,
Japanese.
they had no relation.
They were no
Okay.
relation. His
Okay.
father was basically a retainer or served her father. And when they got attacked, they smuggled her out to train her to be the next Red Ranger. And he became her, I guess it was like her comedy show person, the person that actually stays in the background and
Oh
pretends to be.
yeah.
You know how Sailor Venus pretended to be Sailor
Hmm.
Moon? It's the same situation with them.
Got it.
But
See,
in the
that's the
end,
thing that
she
I
ended up
hated.
adopting him.
See, that's the thing that I hated in the original version. They did not do that. They
Yeah.
didn't.
Yeah.
I mean, it was implied that she was supposed to be the Moon Princess, but it didn't give the elements because Venus had the crescent moon on her forehead, and
Well, you never know. She probably should have been because she was the very first comic book Sailor Scout that she wrote, and then she expanded into the Sailor Moon universe. Because Sailor
yeah,
B came out way before there was a
yes,
Sailor
she
Moon.
did. But I
But
mean, I guess Nayako was like, she wanted to kind of move. She wanted Venus to be there, but not be a part of it. Not be the
yeah,
princess. We don't know. But yeah, I gotta go eat. I'm hungry.
now we over here on a tangent talking about nerdy
I
shit
know we
now.
over here talking about
Okay,
everything, and I keep getting Maria off
seriously,
track, and I gotta go eat.
over here talking shit. But anyway, but no. So again, we know that there's gonna be a stream on Saturday for Superman and Lois. Let me know what things you want me to review. I know a lot of them are gone already and over. I have been watching The Flash.
Oh God. I'm still in the tornado.
I'm with you now. I've seen more than you. I jumped willingly in there with you. Like, I'm so tired, guys. I'm tired.
I'm still in season 2 of the tornado.
We literally. I'm so tired. I'm tired of so much on the Flash. Um,
Look, I'm telling y'all that tornado looks so good right about now. I'm telling y'all, I may be a whole house in there. I'm not coming out.
I I was gonna do an Arrowverse show because I've actually checked out the first 20 minutes of Gotham Knights. Is that what it's called? I have all of it DVR'd, but like I got bored the first 20 minutes, so I don't know if it's any good. I got to go back and watch it. I have to make myself watch it, but my stress level was too high. So I was like, I need to not. You guys are lucky I watched The Flash because I was like, this is
Oh
pissing
my.
me off. This is pissing me off. I don't care. I'm gonna say it here, okay, guys. Please don't hate me. I don't give a fuck about Allegra and Chester's fucking relationship. I don't
See,
care.
see,
I don't fucking care.
see. This
You
is
know
why
what
I
I
was.
wish the Flash was about? The fucking Flash. And that's all I'm
Also,
saying about
Barry
that.
don't get no kind of screen time no
I
more
know he
now.
does, but it's never about him. I mean, hell, Caitlyn or Kalon or whatever the fuck she is this week gets more screen time than Barry does. Like she has a bigger story than Barry.
And this
Everybody has
and
one.
oh my
This
god.
is the last season of the Flash, and still, I'm like, you know what? That's fine. They've accomplished one thing this season. If you guys want me to talk about the Flash, put it in the comments section below. And I'll make sure to have a stress-free day before I do that stream. But nah, Saturday, 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 Saturday. And no, Serenity, I can never really hate on Jungle Fever Love, being that I'm the product of that, so that's not true. But that's kind of that would be very self-deprecating of me to do
Yeah,
that.
I was gonna say yeah.
But no, I don't hate Jungle Fever Love. I hate that fucking term. I used to hear that in high school. It just pissed me off.
Yeah, I did too.
I hate bad writing. There is a complete difference. Complete difference. My problems with the Flash have nothing to do with Barry and Iris. Trust me, it has everything to do. Even though Barry makes stupid shit choices, it has everything. I know you're joking, Serenity. I'm just pointing it out because there are going to be people that might read that
Yeah,
don't know.
yeah, that's true.
But there are
I'm a,
things that I'm just like I can't. So again, if you want me to talk about the Flash, which means you probably don't like me very much, but if you want me to do that, put it in the comment section below, and I will do.
I'm just gonna say the only thing that I didn't like about Barry and Iris's relationship is how they got together. It like it just came out of nowhere. Barry, they were supposed to be
Oh
really
no,
good
no, no, no!
friends.
Barry was thirsty for Iris forever. He was
That's
thirsty
what, but see what I'm saying is
from
like
day
back in
one.
season one, he was they were really and I saw it. Don't get me wrong, I saw it. I knew it was there, but it's how it happened. You know, he tells her, I love you. I want to be with you. I have a boyfriend. I don't want to." And she was real nasty to him. If y'all remember how she came out, but then when her boyfriend died, he saves her and he tells her he's the Flash. Oh, now she wants to be with him.
No, she was pissed actually. Go back and watch that baby. She was like,
Oh
"Oh,
wait.
so everybody knew but me? Hell with you."
Oh, that was true. That was true. She was pissed.
No,
I remember that
and
now.
actually she started dating the editor guy at the thing. It took her a minute to get with him. I got to give my
Yeah,
girl this. She didn't flop. He wanted her to flop. But remember,
yeah, she was pissed
he was
because
thirsty. He was
her
like,
dad
"Hey,
knew. Oh, when she found out her dad knew before her. Oh, she didn't talk to nobody. I mean, literally, it almost came to the end of season two when she started coming around to everybody.
yeah." But I mean, I actually respected the fact that she did that. They didn't write her character correctly at all. I felt bad for Candace because she got really shitty scripts.
And
But
she was a
like
good actress.
and she's a damn good actress. But I mean, I told you they kept giving Caitlyn all this shit. And whenever I point that out, it was like, no, you hate Snowberry. I don't give a shit about Snowberry or West Allen. That don't mean shit to me. I've read the comics. I don't care about the CW romance concoctions. Okay. That's not something that I give a damn about. Never have, never will. No, I don't care. But I have to call it as I see it. The scripts are stupid. They never
Yeah.
knew what the hell to do with Caitlyn, so they made her Killer Frost. Now they made her a whole ass other character from the comics who was a fucking goddess in the comics. They gave her to kill. I mean, I am so tired of the evolution of this character because you don't know what to do with her that it's ridiculous. So I'm like, you just set this shit over here. I don't care anymore. I don't care about Caitlyn. I don't care about Allegra and Chester. I don't care about any of it. I should be caring about the fact that this is the last season. We've been getting filler episodes for the Flash when he could be out fighting somebody and not fighting somebody, getting his ass handed to him and having Batwoman save him later. Don't get me started on this
Oh
train,
my
guys.
God.
Don't get me started on this train.
I'm telling y'all, if
I
y'all
can't.
want to come into my
I can't.
tornado
I
with me
cannot.
in season 2, y'all more than welcome. I have a
I will bring a seat. You can sit next to me because I'm in there right now. So that's where I am. I even my spouse, who does not like comic or doesn't not that doesn't like it, he doesn't understand comics that much. Was trying to give the Flash a try. Has not watched really a lot of other seasons of the Flash, just like a couple episodes here and there.
and he's
Literally
like, oh
looked
my
at me.
God.
He looked at me and he's like, "What is this?" I was like, "We've been asking that
You
shit
go,
for
River.
9
I'm with
seasons."
you. I'm right there with you, my friend.
Been
You said the
asking
right
that
thing.
shit for
What
9
is this?
seasons.
What is this? I've been in the tornadoes. I'm telling you, I make that a reference. I've been in that tornado since season 2, the end. I'm saying it for a reason because after season 2, it just went to shit. I'm just saying.
I mean, I'm not gonna say that's not true. So there have been episodes that I thought were okay, but none of them has stood out to me. But I will say the writing team behind Superman and Lois and the budget for HBO Max, that shit is on point. And
I have
every
this.
time I see my boy John Henry jump in that damn suit, joygasm, people, joy effing gasm. That shit
You
is
so
smoother than Iron Man. They should have had that shit in Iron Man.
you so.
That is on point. So I'm just put it that way. John Henry, my man, Steel. Where's that? But I got a lot to say about Superman and Lois. A lot. I got a checklist. 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 A lot of it good, but I gotta point something out, people. Just a
I
couple
mean,
things.
if I'm not, I haven't watched season 3 yet, but I ain't even left episode 1. I've been so damn busy.
I'm done with you. All right,
Look,
guys. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
look, I got the DVDs right there. I mean, I've been right. If you notice, I got a third book sitting right there. Then I'm on the fourth one, and I have to
Well,
have
I
that.
love the fact that you're writing these cool ass stories. Make sure you support him. Go to his website. But you were supposed to be watching Superman and Lois back then, but I can't talk.
I couldn't.
But because of all the shit in my life, I can't talk because I didn't get to do Scream Queens with you either. So, but that ain't my fault.
Hypocrite, hypocrite.
Well, you know what? You know what though? You deal with my shit then. I'll deal with your shit. We'll switch shit for the day,
Oh no,
and then
baby!
and then
Look,
we
I got
go
a bad
see.
back. I got a bad back and some bad knees. Don't try that.
I will
Oh
kick you in your bad back and your knees. Keep on. Keep playing with me, Kenny. Anyway,
I told you don't make me laugh. My head hurt.
well, I'm doing that on purpose. I want you to have a headache. Anyway,
Oh,
guys,
you're gonna get a Marco Polo tonight.
tonight you're gonna do it in 5 minutes. All right, guys, I love you. You guys have been awesome. I have told you a lot of personal shit today, and then I went into Nerdland for some reason. I think that's probably my coping mechanism. That's probably why we go there. But you have a kind of gist of what's been going on. It's not everything, but it is a lot. So that is why my shit has been off a lot, especially on this channel, because your girl's been going through some shit. But I'm trying to get on point. I'm trying to get back on point. I do want to do the Superman and Lewis reviews. I really want to do Ruby because Ruby's been crazy. And I just want to know what other stuff that you are watching. Suggest stuff that you think I should watch. Because I am very interested in trying to find some of my shows are going off. And so I need to find something. I don't watch a lot of stuff, but some of the stuff that I am watching are getting ready to go on like hiatus, or they only have one season. So if you know of something that I should be watching, let me know, because I don't know what I don't know. I don't know. So just put it that way. But I have to go too because I have an audition that is due. It's not due till 10, but you know, I don't want to be in this box any more than I need to be today. So I'm gonna roll that little shenanigan out, and then get the hell out of here. And then you know what I'm gonna do, guys? Nothing. I'm gonna go over there, put the TV on, and be brainless for the rest of the damn night, and go to
That's
sleep.
what I'm about to do. I'm gonna go eat me a pork chop sandwich. Go in there and watch Carlos and his Spanish big brother, and watch him, fan out over that. And I'm going to sleep.
Yeah, and Jake, I do like the suggestion. I did watch all of The Last of Us. I also played the game, well, to the part where I got trapped in the building in the like very early stages and screamed like a bitch. But I did watch all the cutscenes and watch all the cutscenes for the second game, so I do know the characters. I do know everything. But yeah, I was very impressed with The Last of Us. And so I have no problem if people want me to talk about it because I did enjoy that show tremendously, and they better have a season 2. I don't see why they wouldn't. But I
Wait,
will
is
say
it on? Is it on Hulu?
it's on HBO Max.
I don't have it.
But if you want to do a watch party, I can hook you up.
Okay.
But I do want a season 2. I just don't. I mean, I don't think it's gonna be a problem. The only thing I worry about with HBO Max is how many shows they dump off their network for money reasons. So I am kind of worried about that. But I mean, as long as I don't really know why they wouldn't do it. And at the end of the day, maybe Disney will grab it because they already have the same guy doing the Mandalorian, and it's just almost besides zombies, it's almost the exact same premise. Guy traveling around with a kid gets
God.
basically it becomes a pseudo child for this person. So I mean, it's the same guy, same premise, different situations. But yeah, I have no problem with The Last of Us. So yeah, but anything else you guys like? If you have a suggestion on something, a movie, or a TV show, let me know. Because again, 2 of my shows are going on hiatus after next week, so I will have the time to introduce a new show into my life or a movie. Let me know. All right, guys, I love you. I've been talking almost 2 hours. I'm tired, and I still got to fucking record. Ugh. You guys have no idea how hard it is when you're tired to have to do voiceovers. It is
Trust
very
me,
hard.
I do know.
If you want to follow me on Twitter, it's literally Maria Amelia Park. I will put it down here because I need more Twitcher friends to talk to me that are not, I'm gonna say it like that. I won't sound crazy. And I also posted my new character demo. I would love to know what you guys think. It is short and it's in our community tab and it's also on my Twitter page. So let me know what you think about it so you can kind of get adjusted to what I do during the day. All right, guys, I love you. Kenny loves you. Make sure you like and subscribe his channel. None of this was monetized today because why make money off of suffering and pain, trauma and disturbance and anger. But I do appreciate you all hanging in there with me, and for not unsubscribing from my channel when there were no videos because I've had lots of projects that I just have let go or just hanging in the atmosphere of nowhere and in that pocket universe of when the fuck will this get done. But I'm trying. I really am. And as soon as this probate shit is over, especially when we're moving, I think it's going to get a lot easier to do videos. But I am making an effort to do more. So just bear with me. I'm trying.
I'm unsubscribing. Oh, you didn't hear that.
That's fine. As long as you subscribe right back 5 seconds later, that's all that matters. All right. Love you guys. I will see you on Saturday. Bye-bye.
My God.